Beverly Neal-Clinton in the virtual building. Why don't you give them that spiel?
Thank you so much, Marcus. It will be my pleasure. So I want to begin with a very straightforward fact. The Emancipation Proclamation of September 22nd, 1862 was issued to free our people. As reparations, we were promised 40 acres and a mule. The land grants stretched from the Charleston Islands south to the St. Johns River and 30 miles inland. The ink was not even dry on that document when President Andrew Johnson revoked these land reparations and returned the land to the wealthy plantation owners who were the initial cause of the Civil War in the first place. The land promised but never delivered would be worth in excess of $16 trillion today. But there is something that every African American in the nation should know about, embrace, and spread the word about. There is a reparations juggernaut in the hands of African American Trust, and it will be the initial step in closing the income inequality gap that the federal government has been talking about for 200 years. Just like the major corporations who pledged that $49 billion to improve the economic life of African Americans following the death of George Floyd. But now, 2.5 years later, after the spotlights dimmed and no one was watching, corporate America put their checkbooks back in their rosewood handcrafted desks and delivered nothing, not a dime. I want to change that just a little bit because Comcast actually did donate $100 million. They are doing some things, but they are the only ones that we are aware of at this point. So we have a set of reparations that we can control. It is ours to use, and we need no permission to use them. I ask you to join with us this day as we will close the income inequality gap. We will produce executive income for ourselves despite not having had the opportunity to attend the best business schools and be placed in a high corporate position because of our family name or connections. We will rewrite African American financial history. We will change the economic future for generations yet unborn. I ask that you take the following pledge and keep it in the canyons of your mind and say it silently every day to yourself. I will join in spirit to pursue the vision of African American Trust as it will benefit me currently, my family members, and all with whom I share our African American ethnicity.
I love it. So you guys are in store for a special treat tonight. Christmas has come early in the best way. So do not go nowhere. Hold your seats tight wherever you are. If you're driving, just put the phone down and listen. We'll be right back. All right. And that was a quick right back. So we are joined by the lovely and wonderful Madam Beverly Neal-Clinton. Um, we we have done this before, and this is a continuation in talks, and it's just right on time because uh, the holidays is here. Just going to be a lot of spending around this time, and what struck me the most in Miss Clinton's conversation via text with me was like, will you be in debt? Do you want to choose to be in debt um, when the new year start? And then she opened that way tonight. So let's talk about that. What inspired you most to jump on this talk? Why are you there?
I am, but it's signaled out. You said why, and then it
Why
went
why,
away.
why today? Why today?
Well, we've still got a few more days left in the year.
Mhm.
We all love this time of the year. It's a time of giving, a time of celebrating, a time of reflection. I want for us in our reflections to reflect forward because it
Right.
is as important as reflecting backwards. We are here as a result of everyone who's come before us laying that groundwork. So the
Mhm.
question I have for you and your listeners, as well as me and everybody with whom I speak, what plans do you have for next year? Because it's habit for us, especially young folks, and I'm old, so I can say this now. Young folks, they go into debt and then they spend those first 6 to 8 months of the new year paying off that debt, only having a breather to then go back into debt. So
Yeah.
with us, what we're saying is, and you and I've had this conversation before, Marcus,
Mhm.
it is my intent and my desire to have our people run towards the IRS instead of running away. And when we plan forward for our future, we are able to go into the next year going to get paid instead of going into debt or trying to get out of debt. So an example would be, again, just thinking about what we're spending our money on. I'm not sure if I talked with you about this before, but it is a conversation I've had previously. Sometimes we get distracted with the bells, the whistles, the lights. We have that ADD moment. It's a shiny thing, so we're off to the new thing. And that's really a liability, not an asset.
Right.
And we need to look at what are we putting our money into, and then how much are we getting back from that?
Hmm.
So when you look at spending less than $1,000, knowing that you can get a return on that of up to 74,000, that is simple math that a first grader could probably do. So the question is how do we change our mindsets to think about creating the groundwork for our future as our parents did for us? So that's what made me think about having this talk this time of year, because it is a wonderful time of the year. But I want us to have a wonderful time next year and the year after that and the year after
You know
that.
that's right. I know that's right. So is the real question, do you want to learn how to build wealth for 2023? Is that the real question everybody should be asking themselves?
That's the real question. It's and do you want to be fearless this year? Do you want to try something so very new that when I talk to my mentor, sometimes he says things that it takes me weeks to digest. I mean, he's talking, I know he's saying words that have formed a sentence that should construct a thought, and yet my synapses are broken. I can't even hear what that man is saying. And then a couple of weeks later, it'll settle in, and then I will understand, and the light bulbs will go off. And that's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping that we're choosing for the light bulbs to go off and to be comfortable
Right.
in the space when we are confused and we don't understand. I had a conversation with a man last night. He was so funny. First of all, when I called him, because he filled out, I'm running some Facebook ads and he put all of his information in. I called him up and that man laid me out. He was saying, "How dare you call me at this time of the night? And don't you know I listened?" And when he finally took like a long pause of a breath, I said, "I am calling you at this time of the evening because that's what time you said was best to call you." And he was so apologetic after that. He was so apologetic. And he was so
Yeah.
sweet. And then he shared with me, no, I don't have a 1099. No, I don't have a small business. I said, and that's why I wanted to call because that's kind of the groundwork upon what we jump off on. And he said,
Mhm.
no, but it's interesting to me. He said, I don't understand how it works. And the more we talked, he was so candid. He said, listen, I know nothing. I mean, just, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm a hustler. That's what I am. I'm like, that's even better.
They the best.
They're the best, right? They know
They
how
the
to get
best.
after it. And
Exactly.
so I said, just imagine that you're a blank canvas. What could you create with a blank canvas? It is totally up to you.
Yeah.
I said, people, when they talk to me, they act so, oh, she's got it all together. I had to start somewhere. And
Yeah.
wherever they start when they come on board, they're going to start exactly where I did.
Right.
This is what I know. And you've heard me say this before, Marcus. You do better when you know better.
Yes.
I know better, and I am not shutting up.
And you definitely can't. And I think that's one of the issues we running into in our community is the fact that, like, we're so accustomed and so immune to debt. When they talk about a herd immunity, the herd immunity is debt.
It is. It truly is. And that's another thing that our community needs to understand and be comfortable with too,
Yes.
is the difference of knowing what is good debt and what is bad debt.
Right.
We kind of glumped it all together to say, ooh, debt is bad. But debt can be leveraged.
Hmm.
And when you understand that concept, I hate to say let the games begin, but it just kind of, there's that key that goes into, and it turns your brain and how you see things. Because and it's not about that you have to spend the money to make the money. We understand that concepts, but what we really need to understand is, when I say what's my ROI, I'm looking at investing. I'm looking at a return on that investment. If I'm not going to get something out of it, you can best believe I'm not going to invest my time in, because time equals
Yeah.
money.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't understand that, and when you look at how many times the money circulates in the community, there's no such thing as a return on investment. It's not existent. And and with the information that you have, like the question that always gets that like really like hooks me the most is like, what can you do with an extra 74,000, 94,000? you know like, what if, like, inflation is a gift, and we're talking real money here.
We're
and
talking
um
real money.
and then Christmas can be better next year.
Oh my God.
You don't have to scrap pennies.
Exactly. And that gets into, again, being able to change our mindset. I have been fortunate to be around people who have shown me a different way. And there's a woman who I love to death. Her name is
Yeah.
Beverly Wilson Hayes. She is a phenom.
Hmm.
She, when I say she can change your mind and how you see things, this woman, I thought I was a phenom. This woman, man, she was blazing trails, burning them up, and taking no prisoners. She understood that the only prison we have is the one that we create. And once you
Hmm.
understand that you have the key to unlock that door, the world is yours. And she does this on the daily with people. She just shows you a new way of being. And I said all that to say this. It's all right. Let me put it to you another way. You know how we like to play spades?
Yeah, I was just playing spades the other day, and I'm finally winning at spades.
Well, my family says I'm ruthless. They know if it's
Yeah,
a game, I'm playing to win. They don't like to play Monopoly with
yeah,
me. They don't like to play Scrabble with me because
hmm,
I'm ruthless. Okay.
yeah.
So let's talk about spades. We all didn't come in this world knowing how to play spades, but I bet you that
Nah.
once you understood the concept
Oh, it
and
was
you
on.
knew it was on. And that is what this is. It is a
Yeah.
process that you learn, you rinse, you repeat it, and then you start to build, because it's not just you now. So now you
Hmm.
can collaborate with your friends and say, hey, you know what? If we get together, we can do these things and we can create this other thing. Um, Another part of what we are starting to branch out on is churches, because
Okay.
again, churches have always, we all know about that building fund, and we ain't seen a nail yet, right? We are know it, right? So we have something called a ministry of sustainability,
Mm.
where someone within the church can be the point. That person can then talk to someone else about the TaxZERO plan. Those people within the church, they then pool their monies together. The church then gets a certain percentage of what they sell. That money can then be used to pay for the utilities, for the electricity, to actually put money in the building fund. Because now your people will be getting 70% more of their money back. So then they will have more money to spend. You see
Yeah.
how again, it just can grow so organically that we've just got to get past ourselves. That's what we got to do. We just got to get past ourselves.
And I just tagged a person that just inherited a church. So so
Then you need to call me so we could talk about your
yeah,
ministry
yeah, I
of
just did that.
sustainability.
So I called her out, so
Hey, Janice, looking to hear from you soon.
yeah, uh-huh. So yeah, so I'm calling people out.
Listen, 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 and but the fact that you called her out,
Hmm.
that gives her a choice. She can either stand up and be the light, or she can put it on that bushel. And we all know what that scripture says. So it's completely up to you as to how you navigate, because that's the beauty of free will.
Right.
You can't unring a bell. And once you hear it, you know that sound. And this is the same thing.
Mhm.
You're teaching financial literacy. And that's the other part of this message.
Right.
It's like math. You can be afraid of it, or it's like electricity. You can be afraid of that too. We all know not to touch them wires when they're exposed, but we know how to flip a switch. It's a
Exactly.
tool. And once you understand the rules of engagement, and then you start to rise, it is almost beyond words how much you can create.
So this is that bridge, that allows, like, and it's real big, and on the in all caps too, by the way, on ourreparations.org, where you guys talk about a bridge allowing the African American community a path to financial equality. This
Yes.
is that bridge, and a lot of times, a lot of the bridges, they have holes in them, or they, they it
The
just
infrastructure is
yeah,
shabby, and if you
yeah,
knew how bad it was, you
right,
wouldn't drive over it. That's exactly right.
exactly. It's it's really, not all that intact, so and then the fact that you guys are a 501 c3, that is, like, truly beautiful. So you guys are doing some really
Well, I have
awesome
to I
things.
have to I have to share with you on that one. So we
Hmm.
do have a nonprofit, which is the 501c3.
Yeah.
That is where we are going after corporate. That's our
Right.
nonprofit, because they promised that 49 billion and we're going after them for that.
Yeah.
Now, the other entity is not nonprofit. It is definitely for profit. And the reason why
Okay.
it is for profit is because that is how we build and we grow. Remember when we talked last time, I said that
Yeah.
I wanted us to be that
Batteries.
quiet.
Yeah.
That's right. Quiet storm.
Hmm.
That is what we are building with the TaxZERO Plan. That
Okay.
allows us to build the amazing foundation that will eventually springboard us into even more amazing things when we talk about trust creation. Because
Yeah.
I want that confidence to be built in the TaxZERO Plan, seeing how it moves, experiencing it for yourself, and then you will have the confidence to move into trust creation, which then shows you how to protect the money that you now got.
Yeah, and there's since we own, like, and I'm still in this holiday spirit, and trust is the trust is like a present. So yeah, so, like,
It is.
maybe kind of expound on trust a little bit, because, like, I know I'm putting, like, the candy before the bag, but I want to put it out there, and let's allow people to get a real good understanding of what trust are, because, like, yes, that's something, we just not educated on. The another thing.
So there are two things that if I were going to give someone a teaser on trust, I'd say this.
Hmm.
Trusts allow you, because what tends to happen is we are very familiar with wills, because that's, your mom had a will, they told you to get a will. And what people don't understand is that when you have a will and that person transitions and they pass, that will then goes into probate.
Right.
That probate has to then have an executor. That means all assets are now frozen. That's going to take time to shake that down and distribute those funds. And in that time, nothing is moving, but everybody's getting paid. The executives getting paid, the courts getting paid, whatever debtors were getting paid. All that stuff is still, they're getting
Yeah.
paid, and you will then get whatever is left after a certain time period. And that's what we know. Nothing
Right.
wrong with that, but that's what we know. Now, same scenario, somebody drops dead, but their trust is in place. There is there nothing stops. The money doesn't stop. The bank accounts
Mhm.
still have access to all the bills are still getting paid. Monies can be moved around. And
Mhm.
we call the trust a hand from the grave. Let's say in your trust that you've already created, you have some children. Everybody knows how the children are. You know, some of them know they're
Yeah.
going to do right. Some of them know they can't do right. If that was the only way to go, they'd still go wrong. We know that. With a
Mhm.
trust, we call that a hand from the grave because that trust can still control from the grave because you've already set your parameters on, say, that person who we know is not going to do right. We've already given them an X amount, and this is what they spend. Now we can put metrics in place to say, now once you do this, then hey, then you can get a little bit more. But if you don't do that, then hey, this is what you got, and that's it. The second nugget that I would say is that with trust, the beauty about trust is that they protect everyone from debtors, creditors, and thieves.
Mhm.
So, what else is left after those three? And a trust protects all that.
Oh man, that's huge. You know, and that's something like everybody should be excited about, you know, especially that last part. Them creditors, they will find a way. Like especially once you're dead, they'll still find a way to get that money. And
Absolutely.
and then those liens are notorious for like invading bank accounts. There's
The number one cause of bankruptcy
Mhm.
in this country is Medicaid. And what ends up
Mm.
happening is for some of us, not for me, but for some of us, if our parents are in a nursing home or a facility, and that's another thing too. When you look at the numbers, I forget. I want to say it's like I can't remember the exact numbers right now, but for those who do end up in nursing homes and they've had Medicaid, what ends up happening is whatever assets aren't liquidated when that person transitions, then whatever certain states can go back in and normally for us our biggest asset is going to be our house, our home, and for some of us it's our family home. Medicaid can actually go back in and take that family home and sell it, and whatever proceeds come from that, that will pay off the remainder of their debt.
Yeah.
So that family home is now lost, and there's nothing anybody can do about it. And that's, we don't know that. However, if you had a trust, that could be something totally different.
And you know, now and since we're talking about it, and you know, and you wasn't quite sure about it, I quickly kind of looked it up. You know, there's going to be a Medicaid cost coverage for nursing homes that's going to increase from 77% for the fiscal year of
Wow.
2022 to 91% for fiscal year 2023.
Mm,
This
mm,
is just in Wisconsin alone.
mm,
Um, you know,
mm.
so they're going to be covering 90 on average 90% of nursing home costs. But you know, this is they paint it like it's a pretty thing, but the that's only because nursing home costs are going up. You know, the private room annual cost in 2021 was over 100 grand, and then a shared room was close to 100 grand
Yeah,
nationwide.
yeah, yeah. And a lot of people don't know that. They think, oh, this is great. You know, we were able to take care of my mom or my dad or my uncle.
Yeah, it's a
And that's
ripoff.
fine.
It's a ripoff.
It is. It is. It really is. And you know, it doesn't have to be that way. But again,
Yeah.
when I say that we tend to do wills, because that's what we were taught. So
Mhm.
to me, what my mom used to say was, if you learned it, you can always unlearn it.
Yeah, and you save more money being taken care of at home.
Yes.
You know,
Not
you
to
get
mention that, they actually do want you because you're at home and you're
yeah.
not just a job so yeah, when you look at Medicaid. Let's say you have someone who has special needs. Now they already have
Mhm.
assistance. The main thing that you don't want to happen is for, again, when you transition, you don't want that assistance to stop to that person. So that would be a special needs trust. You understand
Yeah.
that person is always going to need care. You
Oof.
can set that up in a trust so that the benefits that they're given now will never stop. So yeah, there are ways to be very smart about your money and have to have your money work for you. Because if you don't know what to do with $100, you're not going to know what to do with $1,000. You
Mhm.
certainly not going to know what to do with 100,000. And so you have to start wherever it is you are.
Yeah.
But you also have to understand that what is that? Unto whom much is given, much is required. And if you don't understand how your foundation is laid, then you're just going to squander it. And that does no one any good, certainly not your future generations. We don't have enough of preparing and leaving a legacy for our family.
Yeah.
They get out there and they get it the best way they can. And
Mhm.
that's why we are so far behind. And
Yeah.
I'm looking to close that and change it.
Exactly. And once again, for those who just joined us live, we're talking, will Christmas put you in debt? And do you want to build wealth for 2023 and beyond? And we got some interesting, things we're, discussing surrounding this topic. And Miss Beverly, she does an awesome job of like laying this all out for us. And, you know, and let's go over and talk now um, about how we can um, secure that trust and make sure there's something more than just a penny like, that we're protected.
So
You
listen,
gotta have
so
some.
yeah, so the Tax ZERO plan is
Yeah.
$949.
Hmm.
That is a one-time cost, and you get lifetime updates. What
Yeah.
that 949 does for you this year, which is why we only
And
have
she
a
get
few
my
more
nine
days.
forty nine
There you go.
this week because I
There you
get
go.
paid. I get paid on Friday. That podcast check coming on Friday, so I'm paying you on Friday.
Okay.
You don't
Okay.
think I was dodging you now. I seen you hit my email. I wasn't dodging you. I was just
It,
trying to. I was trying to wait for my podcast money.
listen, we love what we do. We are grateful. My head is bowed. I'm grateful for you.
Yeah.
That 949 is your one-time fee that you're going to pay. By the way, that
Mhm.
949 is tax deductible because, again, it falls under section 162 that
Yeah.
says anything that can limit your liability or increase your net worth. It doesn't matter if it's something you read, something that's copyrighted, something that you ran into. It's covered. So that 949 is already covered under the IRS. So you're paying yourself right now out of the gate. So the
Yeah.
949 is what you pay. You pay it the one time. What it does is it gives you, it's going to be a beautiful little booklet and you'll see it. It gives you everything that you need. And what we always tell people is you take this to your CPA because God bless them. I'm sure they don't know. So when they try to tell you that, no, you cannot write this off, not only can you say, yes, I can, you can say, here's why I can. And
Mm.
then you're good to go. And then we just continue to scale that up. And now I'm going to tell you this because we say the 74,458 is what we can is what you can get to deduct. But we can deduct probably more than that. But we say that number because the people it's easier for people to digest that number. Okay.
Yeah.
But we can do more than that.
Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. That's what because I know I got a little bit more out there. I know I got a couple of hundred racks out there.
Look, and I want to remind you,
Yeah.
you can do this for each business. Each EIN separated business can do this for each one.
Mm.
Okay. So that's how you start. And again, we're looking for 66 people. Those 66 will be our distributors. And when people don't understand what that means, I tell people to think about stuff like this. Think about the first three people who came in to Avon, because we know
Yeah.
Avon is still here. Think about the first three people who came on at Walmart. We just, Toyota, that's our business model. We use models that are already working.
Yeah.
And what you can do is again, we want you to organically experience this, not just hear me bump my gums and make you feel good. We want you to experience it so that when you have that conversation and we begin to build that grassroots and the seeds are going out and then they start to sprout, you will be right there in the thick of it. Because, you know, I can't, I really, really need everyone to understand that in 5 years, it's going to crest. And you can miss it, and that's completely up to you. But when it does hit, at 5, I'm out. And everybody else can leave if they want, unless they just like really want to stay there. But that's my plan. 5, this will grow and exponentialize, and we're out.
I ain't missing that bus. The doors of the church is open. You better.
Hey, Janice,
The doors of the church is open now.
come on down.
Yeah, come on down. So yeah. We'll talk about me offline again, but yeah, this is an incredible program, and there's nothing around like it, and
We have no. People look at me crazy when I say that.
yeah,
We have no competition.
no, there's nothing beating this. And I guess because I'm super excited, especially because I now I got some money coming Friday to be able to do it. So, man, yeah, I got some extra money to be able to do it. So,
Yeah.
So this is gonna be my Christmas present
To you and your family.
Yeah, my family. It ain't a selfish Christmas present.
Nope.
So like it's definitely gonna be to go to good use. But when we think about this, and I can't allow I can't stop you enough from I can't let you go without allowing you to once again just express, because we expressed this like a lot throughout the last episode we did together about like just the importance of knowing that like this this is for anyone.
Yes.
Like especially if you are in the gig, a part of the gig economy,
Part of the gig
maybe
economy.
maybe just like capitalize on that one more time for me. They hear it out my mouth, and they're like, oh yeah, Marcus, we love Marcus. But like when they hear it out somebody else's mouth, like that's doing this, and that's like that's really seeing what it looks like. It makes a lot of difference.
So the gig economy, you young folks,
Mhm.
y'all are in a position now to where if you don't think about down the road, because I know you're young and you think you're invincible, but you have several jobs that you are cobbling together to have one main income. That's the reason why you're doing the Grubhub and why you're working at the Starbucks and then why you're working at the Home Depot
And
or
then doing
office.
hair on the side.
Right, or the podcast on the side, or the
Yeah.
or all or the classes that you're teaching online, or the content writing that you're coming up with, or the landscaper who has the business, or um, the teacher who's working on the side tutoring. All of those things are jobs that you can take advantage of and credit for. And if your husband decides to come in, you can get credit up to the 74. But if your husband or your spouse comes in, then you're looking at like $94,000 with some change. But the point is if you have that side hustle, if you have those gigs that you're doing, those gigs are your Willy Wonka chocolate golden ticket to get you into the factory. Because now you can go and hang out with Charlie and the crew because you got the right ticket. So
Yeah.
do the same things that you're doing now, but now just take advantage of it. And here is the beauty of it. When you decide to take advantage of it, because you're so young, if you do this plan for the next 25 years,
Mhm.
you will have amassed $625,000. That is an additional spendable income, which we are going to show you what to do with, so you just don't go blow it. And then you could have another 950,000 in your retirement. So you can still have your part-time gigs, just use them to your advantage. And understand this, everything that we are talking about right now is foundationally built upon
Yeah.
the Internal Revenue Code. So everything that we're going to show you is why you can use it, because it's buried in those 73,000 pages that nobody wants to read, and those 1,200 volumes which nobody wants to read. We have wheedled down
Mhm.
the 522 portions that are applicable to you.
Yeah. I'm tagging the mess out of people right now because yeah, they better come get some of this juice. This ain't Kool-Aid. This is some good juice right here.
This is juice that is like, remember when Goji came out and everybody's on that Goji
Yeah.
craze? This is the sustainability, and the beauty of it is, and I'm going to share this with you people, and I'm gonna drill down. Did I tell you the story, the 100th monkey story? Did I tell you that?
You know what? I don't remember.
So the 100th monkey, and this is real. Researchers were
Mhm.
watching monkeys, and monkeys didn't always wash their food. They would
Okay.
just eat it. Well, one monkey started washing the food, and when that monkey washed the food, by the time it got to the 100th monkey, that monkey intuitively knew to wash their food. So the plan that you are starting today has the capacity to turn into, and this is a real thing, 100-year bank that you could have for your family tax free.
Mm.
But by you starting right now, what you're doing is teaching the next generation, and then that generation will teach the next generation. And if we continue to do this, by the time we will get to the point where your children's children will do this, and it will be inherent to them. They won't even know why they do it. It'll just be a part of them to be financially literate and financially savvy.
I love it. Well, that's. I think that's a very good uh, way to like really put this thing to a really good close. And just give us the website one more time, and like and how to contact you.
African American Trust.us.
Hmm.
You can go to Facebook. You can leave me a message there. I think we've had over 100 and something responses. I think I've gotten through like maybe 40 of them. So there's
Okay.
still some I'm working out, and then I'm giving to some other people to call for me. So the response, the grassroots part of this, is starting to take effect. Shows like yours are helping. I've got another interview tomorrow night, and it is, my vision is coming into focus for us as a people. I know that we can. I just know also that we weren't exposed to it. But now that we're exposed to it, I want us to ring that bell loud and proud.
I like it. Yeah. So I'm just making sure that that some of these are displayed here. So there's our reparations.org right there, nice and big. But for those who are watching live, once if you catch the playback, it will be on our YouTube channel in the episode description, like before, and on our podcast. Any way you listen to podcasts, rather it be Spotify, Apple, iTunes, TuneIn, wherever you listen to podcasts at. You'll find it in the episode description there. And we do blogs. So we do blogs. I never plug my blogs. So
Plug your box, plug
yeah,
it.
so if you like reading, if you like catching a little glimpse, like little glimpses, and you like the little where we put everything all in one page, or we do like a little expanded commentary on what the episode is about. You'll find it on the blog site too. Um, so we usually share that blog out. We share it in a press release as well on our newsroom. So you can. Yeah, we're going to make it so easy for you, ladies and gentlemen. So, and I'm thinking about getting married now. So I no, I was just playing. I'm not, yeah. So, yeah, yeah. I was just playing. Uh, but yeah, but Christmas has come early. Ask yourself this question: do you want to remain in debt? Or do you want to make a real good investment, not only into yourself but into your family, into a legacy, leaving behind a real good legacy, building some real good wealth. Do you want to learn how to build wealth? This is a real good bridge here, a real good sturdy bridge. It ain't something that was built down in the hood somewhere. I mean, even though we can find some good builders in the hood,
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do.
we got good
So
builders in the hood. Don't get it wrong now. Yeah,
I'm going to say this. I'm going to say
yeah.
this. Now, we all know that Wall Street brokers only do the thing that Wall Street brokers do because they like
Hmm.
money. This was the plan that saved Wall Street brokers because at the time it came out 35 years ago,
Yeah.
the Wall Street brokers were in the 46% tax. They were being taxed at 46%. They wanted to know how do they keep more of their money. This plan showed them how to keep their money, and that's what also gave them that 70% spendable income the next year.
Mm.
So don't go reinventing the wheel. It's already been invented. We just now
Right.
have access to it. And we gonna dress it up because that's what we do. We gonna
Okay.
come in and we gonna completely reinvent this thing because that's what we do.
Yeah. Innovators. Um,
Innovators, absolutely.
Innovators and trendsetters.
Yep,
So we're gonna protect this. We got something important here that we all can be a part of. So I just keep on like going on. It's all for good reason. So but hopefully you'll return back. I love having you as a guest. Hopefully you'll come back maybe at the
I
turn of the year.
will. I
At the
will.
turn.
I enjoy you
You
just
know
as much, Marcus.
I know we gonna
You're a
chat a
great
lot,
host.
chat a lot. You better hit me up by Friday. You know, let's get this thing going. So
I will get it to you today or tomorrow.
yeah,
I promise.
yeah. All right. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. Catch us again on another episode. I believe we got one more episode in the chamber for the year for the Black Commentary Podcast, and we'll be back to regular programming for the year 2023. So, happy holidays, and until next time. Many blessings, peace, and lots of love. We are out.